Chapter 10. Elisa came in 10th. Top 10 in the world, not bad, right? Especially with 2 falls. But somewhere along the line in the history of athletics, probably the original Olympics, now that I think about it, someone decided that only the top 3 count. Only first, second, and third get rewarded for their efforts, and everyone else, fourth through last, goes home with nothing. And that's what's happening to Elisa today. She'll be home after more than a decade of training with absolutely nothing to show for it. The February air is crisp this morning, but not the brutal frigidity of the last few weeks. The sun is shining brightly, and it seems like it's capable of warming my face when I turn toward it. It hasn't snowed in days, and for once the sidewalks seem pretty clear, so I'm taking a chance this morning and running outside. I need to get away. Everything about Kellynch right now feels suffocating, and it doesn't help that by tonight, Elisa and Dad will be back home, adding 2 more complications to my already incredibly tangled emotions. It's quiet, way too early for anyone else to be awake. It's too early for me to be awake too, but there's so much nervous energy racing through my bones that I need to burn some of it before the day really starts. I put in my earbuds as I leap off our front porch, ready to sprint down past Kellynch House and the rink into the anonymity of Greater Boston. Once I'm over the river, no one will even glance twice at me. Just another girl from whatever college out for a run, they'll assume. No idea who I am, no idea what I'm going through. No idea that thousands of people around the world have spent the last week blowing up my social media feeds, asking about Brayden, obsessing over every post, so much so that it's impossible to read all the comments in DMs or even scroll through the things I'm tagged in. As soon as we post anything, it's immediately dissected and analyzed and then thrown into a tribute set to a song or edited with a filter and reposted hundreds of times. Brayden's so good at it. He keeps up with it, reposting and commenting, liking dozens of posts a day, creating even more chaos in our mentions. I'm not really sure how he does it. It's like he was made for this kind of life. My feet slap against the pavement, and I'm almost clear of our property, trying to find the right music for this morning's run, when I hear Kellynch House's door and footsteps behind me answering my own. I glance over my shoulder and a flash of brown hair and a sharp jawline tell me all I need to know. Freddie. He sends me a tight smile, awkward and unsure, and I return it, hoping mine is a little brighter than I feel. Last night sucked, and he was there to witness it all, and is that why he's smiling at me today? Pity? The last thing I want is his pity. Hold up a sec, he calls, and part of me wants to take off at a full sprint, but that would be incredibly frickin' rude, even ruder than I was last night. What's up? I ask, turning as he catches up, trying not to relive the night before when I ran into him in a panic. You running into the city? He asks, nodding over my shoulder in that general direction. Yeah, I answer, fiddling with my phone, pulling up my music. Mind if I join? He asks, doing the same. If this was 2 years ago, I'd roll my eyes and joke that he already had, but it's not, so I shrug and say, sure. We used to do this all the time when we trained together. Everything became a competition. Who could run farther, faster, who could veer off the bike racks lining the street like they were hurdles. Sometimes our arms would collide, and we'd shove at each other playfully and keep running, needing to make it back to Kellynch before we were late, and Camille made us do laps. I choose a random playlist that my thumb blindly finds on my screen, then tuck my phone into the pocket of my running jacket before taking off down the sidewalk at a good pace, knowing he'll be right beside me. For a few blissful minutes, it's only me and the guitar riffs from the band Camino pouring out of my earbuds, running through a mental checklist of the things I need to do today. First, training, and then later on I need to try on my costumes for the competition to make sure we don't need any last-minute alterations, and then I need to pack. I'm nearly the bridge when my earbuds lose connection, the song cutting off completely. Crap, I forgot to charge them last night. The sounds of the city slowly waking up on a Sunday morning filter in instead. A few cars rumbling down the street, a couple of sirens in the distance, a plane overhead, paired with the soft wind coming off the icy Charles River, and the slaps of our feet past the pavement. It's not the worst thing to run to. When I slow down to tuck my dead earbuds in my pocket, Freddie matches my stride, and we run in silence over the bridge into Boston itself, the river disappearing behind us. It's kind of nice, actually. I could say something, though. Should I say something? I could apologize, maybe. Apologize for what, though? For doing what was best for my career? That's not something to apologize for, is it? Maybe not, but why does it feel like it is? I never really got the chance to fully explain, though, that I was doing it as much for him as I was for me. It sounds like such an excuse, but it's the truth. We were a mismatch physically. Even if we were on the same page with everything else, it didn't matter. He hadn't grown yet, and I grew too fast. Neither of us would be here right now, ready to go to the Junior World Championships, if we had to sit out a year while we waited for whether or not he'd be tall enough, strong enough to lift me up off the ice the way he can with Riley, the way Braden can with me. It turns out he is, but what if he wasn't? It's not like figure skating careers last forever, and it's not like we could just push back the Olympic Games because our growth spurts happened a year apart. That's the logic behind it, and it was logical, even if it still feels like I didn't do the right thing, like I should have waited, just like he did for me. Still, there's something between us, a deep cut, not fully healed, and maybe it's scabbed over in the last 2 years, but for some reason this morning I want to pick at it. And it's perfect timing because I've hit the spot where I normally turn around, just as Fenway Park looms into view. I glance up at him and find him already looking at me with his bright green eyes. But instead of the passive disinterest I've gotten for the last week, there's something there, some emotion I have no idea how to identify. Maybe 2 years ago I could have, but not now. I slow my strides down to a halt, and he does the same before coming to a complete stop, just outside the ballpark. Wanting to say something, the only thing I can think of is, "I'm gonna head back." "What?" he asks, pulling one of his earbuds out, and I almost snort when exact the song that was playing when mine died echoes out of his tiny speaker. Actually, I did snort. Shit. Your music. "I thought you liked the band Camino," he asks, sounding genuinely confused. "Yeah, I do. I'm gonna head back." "Okay," he says, almost like he means goodbye or see you later, but when I start up in the direction we came from, he follows, his stride matching mine again, even though his legs are longer and can outpace me whenever he feels like it. I bet I can run for longer, though. He's not used to running in the cold anymore, and if it was 2 years ago, I would have said that. I would have challenged him to a run until someone had to stop. But it's not, so we just run in silence, and suddenly I'm annoyed. Annoyed at myself, annoyed at him. It's stupid, after all this time, to still be like this, especially because my annoyance doesn't have anything to do with him, not really. I open my mouth to say something, anything that might inch us away from this awful place of cold acquaintances with more history than most people could wish for in a lifetime, when my foot catches on something. I don't even see what I tripped over before I'm falling, my body sprawling down toward the concrete. I don't reach out with my hands to break the fall. I roll the way I was taught when I first started skating. "Shit," I mutter, pushing up off the ground and examining my knee. It's barely a scrape, but it ripped open the fabric of my running tights and the skin is broken. I'm not hurt beyond that. I can put weight on both feet no problem, but it stings like a bitch. "You okay?" he asks, his brow furrowed, leaning down to peer at my knee. "Yeah, fine. You go ahead," I insist, waving him on. I'm going to have to walk home now. I'm pretty sure I'm okay, but running another 3 miles on it without really checking it out is probably a bad idea. "That's okay. I'll walk with you," he says, even though he's still bouncing on his toes like the energy in his body is colliding against itself inside of him, desperate to be let out. At least some things never change. I'm not in the mood to argue with him, so I start walking and he follows. It's weird to walk together in silence, even though we had no problem while running. He seems to feel the same because he reaches up and pulls an earbud from his ear and offers it to me. I take it and pop it into my ear. Roses is playing, and we walk to the beat, nodding our heads along. Do you remember that concert we went to? He asks, gesturing back behind us toward the rest of the city, since the venue had been in that general direction. Of course I remember. We thought we were so cool at a concert by ourselves. Meanwhile, my mom was in the balcony the whole time. It was a great show, though, and it was cool. We were at a club, and I remember feeling like we belonged there, like almost a grown-up. We were down on the floor together, swaying to the music, tucked against each other to keep from losing one another in the crowd, his arm around my waist, holding me close, my head on his shoulder. The first time I danced with a boy, off the ice at least. It's a perfect memory. Freddie laughs and grins down at me. Yeah, I was so... The smile slips from his face, clouding over with another thought. I don't have more than a few seconds to appreciate that this was how it used to be and how easily we slid back into it without even realizing it. But maybe that's how it is now, the happy stuff always overshadowed by the bad. Because that concert was only a few days before my dad and Camille sat me down to talk about the realities of my partnership with Freddie and how I had to make a choice, and I had to make it soon. A week later, he was gone. It sucks, and I want to make it not suck. So I ask what, trying to bring back whatever the good memory was, and he glances at me, something shifting in his face while he swallows roughly. I stutter step, then just stop in the middle of the sidewalk, and he stops with me. It matters to me. Does it? He almost snaps at me, the harshest I've ever heard his voice, and I'm too stunned to respond. Looking up at him is still weird, that he has to duck his head to fully look into my eyes, but the way he's looking at me makes my breath catch in my chest. I'm not sure I've ever been looked at like that. A mixture of anger and hurt and something else that I think I recognize, but there's no way that's what it is. It can't be, but it looks like want. I bite into my bottom lip, unsure, but when his eyes follow the motion, my heart flutters. His hand brushes against my wrist, and how did he get so close? So close I can see the darker green circles in his eyes and feel the warm exhale of his breath, and my stomach swoops sweetly when his eyes flicker down to my mouth, his tongue darting out and wetting his bottom lip, and I bite down on mine as his gaze meets mine again, and I sway a little at the contact. "Hey," a voice calls from behind us. Freddie spins away and squints against the sun as a car pulls up. I fall back onto my heels, but I don't even remember pushing up onto my toes. When had that happened? It's Georgia and Harry Croft. They're in the back seat of a cab. "What are you all doing out this far?" Georgia asks. "We wanted to get a nice long run in, but..." Freddie says to his sister, his voice flat, gesturing down to my knee, but refusing to really look at me. "Oh," Georgia says, catching a glimpse of my knee. "Adriana, are you all right, sweetie?" Freddie leans over toward the car and mumbles something I can't hear. "Come on, we'll give you a ride home so you can get that cleaned up and Freddie can finish his run." I start to protest. It's fine, I can ignore it, but Freddie's at my side, a hand at my elbow, leading me forward as his sister scooches over and makes room for me in the back seat. Then I'm in the car, the door is closed behind me, and through the window I watch Freddie take off at a run before we leave him in the dust. "Are you sure you're okay?" Georgia asks me again. "She's fine, Georgia, don't fuss," Harry says. I haven't had much of a chance to get to know either of them. "We were coming back from a nice breakfast before the crowds hit. We have some leftover eggs Benedict if you want one," he offers, and when I shake my head no, he shrugs. "I don't know how you all do this. I don't know how I used to do this. Sunday morning runs instead of Sunday morning eggs Benedict, especially after staying up so late to watch the competition." It was fun. It's not a lie. For a few minutes at that party, I was having fun. And if Harry didn't notice my disappearance acts, that's fine. "And did it finally happen?" he asks, a mischievous gleam in his eyes. Panic, total and complete, rages through my veins, and my heart clenches. They couldn't possibly know about... Did they see us? "It?" I ask, my voice cracking a little. "Oh, Riley and Freddie. I've got good money on them finally making it official before we fly to France." "Oh God, Riley and Freddie. I could completely forgotten. How had I forgotten? I'm a complete idiot. Riley was going to tell him how she feels, and I just I don't even know what that was, but it was something. And clearly Freddie was freaked out too, or he wouldn't have sent me along with his sister. You bet on them? Georgia rolls her eyes. We bet the next show we're going to stream together. He thinks before we go, I think not so much. Oh, I say, sending them a tight smile. Which do you think? Harry asks. Will my brother-in-law ever kiss that poor girl, or will she get tired of waiting around for him and do it herself? Stop it, Harry, Georgia says, swatting at him playfully. You're embarrassing her. Riley's her friend. She's not going to spill any secrets. I play along and say dryly, Yep, sorry, even if I knew I couldn't tell you. It violates Section 1, Paragraph 2 of the Girl Code. Violators are punished with 0 outfit consultations for a year, and I can't afford to lose Riley's opinion. She's my tiebreaker if my sisters give me a split decision. For a second, there's silence, and then they both burst into hysterical laughter. They're still laughing when the car pulls up to the house and we climb out. Thanks for the ride, I say as I lead them into the house. There are suitcases strewn all over the foyer, clearly dropped after they were dragged inside. Elisa and Dad are sitting on the couch, facing us, their mouths twisted into the same expression. My gaze catches the time on the grandfather clock in the corner. They're hours early. Their flight wasn't supposed to get in until later tonight. We'd planned a small welcome-home dinner, nothing crazy, mostly because we weren't sure how much celebrating they were going to be in the mood for. You're home, I say, moving toward them, but neither budges from their seats. Yeah, we are, Elisa says, frowning at me. Her eyes flicker from my face and then down to my scraped knee. I try to push through the awkwardness. You guys remember Georgia and Harry? Dad, ever the cloud pleaser, rises and shakes both their hands, wandering off with them and asking what they think of the house and the facilities. I can hear them assuring him that Kellynch is the finest rink they've ever worked out of, while I stand there with Elisa still sitting silently, arms folded over her chest. Shit.